and tonight is about branding. Let's use branding to get whatever we want. We are looking for donors. Businesses are looking for profits, but we are here, trying to get donations from people to support our projects. We are the end. We are the side of, going to the grassroots to solve problems. Okay, we can't do all the work by ourselves, and we haven't also put money into people's pockets. We should be mindful of that. We haven't put money into people's pockets. So how do you get someone to want to patronize you or to want to support your humanitarian organization? How do you get someone to do that? So I believe it is the power of branding that can, make you appealing in the eyes of the people that will need their support. Okay, so in my introduction, I've written, look at branding as a tool to bring excellence to the works of your humanitarian organization, and also avoid reputational risk as an NGO. A brand is not what you say your product or service organization is. It's rather what your customers or the public, donors and beneficiaries say it is, according to how you present it. So just like I've said, there is a problem that, people perceive some NGOs to be scammers, but we are not scammers. We have good hearts, and we really mean what we are about. We are passionate about helping people. You can't go like you are just passionate about this, so you just come talk to somebody, support this project that I have. The person must be moved to support you. Okay, so you would want to avoid that risk, that reputational risk, because if people do not think of you as a good person, believe me, you will struggle in raising funds. So now, let's package ourselves. How to build your NGO brand. How do you build your NGO brand, or your NGO as a brand that will appeal to people? The first point is develop a compelling brand identity. People think of a brand as a logo or some combination of shapes and colors. I beg to differ. A brand is not about a logo. Like I said earlier on, a brand is what people say you are. That is, after you presented yourself to them, they look at you. Okay, you have presented yourself as a man, okay, but you are dressed with earrings, you've made your hair, and you've applied some lipstick, and you are putting on high heels. You are not a man in our eyes, because society doesn't define a man like this. I'm not talking about any transgender or whatever, but what society knows is that a man looks, a particular way, dressed in a particular way. So if you are dressed like a woman, but you present yourself as a man, then people would not think that you are a man. They'll say you're a woman because of how you've presented yourself. So it has to go hand in hand. The way you want people to see you, and how you present yourself. Okay, so let's talk about presenting ourselves right now, or presenting our NGO. You need to have a compelling brand identity. The name that you give to your NGO, a name like Heartfelt Philanthropy Network. The moment you hear heartfelt, you know, it's it gives you the impression that this is about a humanitarian service. The moment you hear heartfelt, and I salute the heartfelt philanthropy CEO on the platform right now, Madam Yvonne. Okay, so let's continue. So that's about a name. So you have to have a name that will sound good to the hearing of people. Then you put up a good logo. Then there are other things like typography. Typography is the font style that you use for writing the name. You can't use the font style that looks like you are going to, sell to children. Meanwhile, you are selling to adults, or you are seeking the support of adults. So you have to be mindful of all these things. And that is why it is necessary to seek expert advice or give your branding to an expert. Okay. So once you have a compelling brand identity, believe me, you are on the way to building a great NGO. The next point, define, focus, and be consistent with your cause. What are you about? There are so many different causes in the humanitarian industry, okay? Someone would want to pay attention to the environment. Someone would want to pay attention to poverty. Someone would want to do food preservation or anything that will bring a change to a problem or will bring a solution to a problem. So you have to be focused on what you say you want to do. Do not confuse people that you are doing this. You've told them that you are doing this, because believe me, the importance of branding can only work for you if you go according to the principles of branding. If you go according to it, then that is when you enjoy the benefit of branding. So that's why I count this as very much important when you are building your brand. Define, focus, and be consistent with your cause. So the moment you give your NGO a focus, then what you're going to do is you're going to get people who connect with what you're doing. Okay, they connect so much with what you're doing, and so you'll find them coming your way. You won't have to struggle to seek their donations, okay, because you appeal to them, because they are concerned about what you're doing. So if you are about the environment, then you will find people who are equally interested in this area. So then you are defining your space, and then positioning yourself for people or philanthropies who are looking to support people who are particularly in this field. Let's talk about lead the brand by living the life. I believe we are all aware that people connect with people. And that's why even businesses build their businesses like the business itself is a human being, okay? Because people connect with people. So if you have an NGO and you have branded the NGO, all these things that I've talked about, develop a compelling brand and focus, and giving a focus to your NGO. If you in person, the founder of the NGO, you are not leading the NGO, you are not leading the organization, if you are not impressing people about your lifestyle, you say you are supporting children with disabilities, but then we hear stories about you doing otherwise, things that will hurt children, like you're a rapist, I beg to differ. You are not conforming with the branding principles. Once we hear your story this way, believe me, it will affect your NGO so badly, because people are connecting with you, the founder, and then that same value, the same value that you have will be what they will associate with your brand. So I can't say that I'm a man of excellence, and I will not apply excellence to my businesses. If I'm doing otherwise, then I'm a liar. Or if I give so much excellence to my businesses and then I don't look excellent in person, people will look at me and be like, but you've been able to do all these things for your business, but you yourself, you are not looking presentable. So I have to speak excellence in the way I dress, in my actions and everything. Excellence must be around me. Okay, you watch me, you see excellence, you watch my businesses, then you'll be at peace knowing that, okay, you are dealing with the right person. So I encourage you to lead your brand, polish your organization, and polish yourself. That way people connect with your organization with ease. Keep telling the story of how you are making the world a better place. I believe every NGO is here to solve a problem, just like every other business. Okay? You are here to solve a problem in society. You've identified that there's a problem in society and nobody's paying attention to it, but you feel it's laid upon your heart to bring solution to this particular problem. And so, whatever you're doing, utilize storytelling. Some time back, I heard people complaining, why is it that NGOs will go and do some humanitarian duties and they would come and post pictures? We went to donate this to the prisoners. We went to donate this to the orphanage home. Then I'm like, wait a minute. Are these people posting just to get glory, or they are trying to let society believe in them the more? Mind you, if you're posting on social media that all that you are doing, you are losing a great deal. You are not going to get people to come and even support you because they are not seeing your works. People are moved by what they see. So if your NGO is really doing so much work out there, then anybody or any philanthropist will look at you and be like, oh, I really want to support this guy. One gentleman like Marcus, I don't know if he's on this platform. Marcus is a typical example of what we are talking about. Marcus is he's into a charity foundation. I believe it's called Love Foundation. Yeah.
Love Foundation.
Yeah, Love Foundation. He's really doing well out there. Code 57 connected with Marcus because of his works, what we've seen about him. Okay, so we are like, okay, this is someone we can build Code 57 with. And if anyone here doesn't know about Code 57, Code 57 is a movement geared towards nation building. We have so much youth in Ghana championing this cause. And we believe that we are going to bring the massive change that we ourselves want from our leaders. We are not going to wait for people, our leaders, to bring the change. We are capable. So that's just a little bit about Code 57. So please, take advantage of storytelling. You went to donate this. The funds probably didn't come from you. Even if it came from you, you are going to need so much support from others. Okay, so the more you keep telling the story of how you are changing the narrative and, all of that, you are going to get philanthropists to come your way to support you. And then also, you are going to inspire the generation or your generation to also rise up and join the fight. Because if I'm inspired by your works, I'm definitely going to join in, to do more, because together we will do greater. Okay, so you are doing your part, you are playing your part, you're sharing the story. I'm inspired. I join you. I'm also inspiring others by sharing my story and all of that. Before we realize, we are going to have a little or no problem at all. I believe we will get to that point where Africa, to be precise, we will have very little problem, just like the Western world is doing. Okay. Actually, please let it go down. Okay, the role of branding. What is the role of branding here? I believe that is what the topic really speaks about. We want to know the role of branding. You've heard about branding. Probably you've even started branding your organization, but maybe you don't really know the extent it will take you. Then let's pay attention to this. One, branding will make your organization stand out. There are a lot of people doing what you're doing. A lot of people, countless, doing what you're doing, including those who are scammers. Okay? So how do you stand out for people to recognize you as the genuine one? Okay? Like I said, you have to appeal to them. How do you stand out? How do you get recognized by the public? Or how do you get publicity by the media houses? It is when you stand out that you will get recognized. And this is what branding will enable you to do. Secondly, we have establishes the reputation of your organization. You need a good reputation. A good name is better than riches. So if you do not have a good reputation yourself in person before your NGO, believe me, you can't even build an NGO and seek for sponsorship from philanthropists or anybody, any donor. It will be difficult. So for you to get a good reputation, then you need to apply branding. And when I keep saying branding, please don't think of brand identity alone. Don't think of logo and all these letterheads and all these things and think you branded. Much of the branding is in your attitude or the attitude of your volunteers, people that you work with. Okay, strong. We will not find it easy to connect with you because you are going contrary with what you are saying you are into. Okay, so it is about building a good name. Once you have a good name, you will go far. You will get connected to the right people who will support you. So this is the work of branding, and then once you apply it, I believe you will enjoy the benefit. Branding makes your organization earn credibility. Trust issues, like I said, people have trust issues, especially when it comes to charity foundations. Even businesses, those who are in business for profits, okay, they would have trust issues with people. Someone will just think, oh, you've branded your products, okay, let me use brand, okay, in the sense of packaging and all these brand identity. Okay, you've done this, okay, then people will know that, oh, you are just come to take their money from them. But if your product is solving a problem, it has some value attached to it, then you are going to go beyond just the identity of the brand and then get connected to people emotionally. That is where you'll be able to earn their credibility, okay? Or you'll be able to earn credibility for your business. And in this light, your NGO. Okay, so take branding very seriously, and then make sure you don't struggle with reputation risk. Branding aligns your organization with the right associate. Branding aligns your organization with the right associate. NCVO is a body here to support NGOs, and as you can see clearly, you are benefiting from the works of NCVO. This has become your associate, the one you move with. You get to be seen as that person. If you find me moving with Dangote, whom I believe we all know about, if you find me moving with Dangote, you will see me in a different perspective. You'll be like, I think this guy is really up to something. Maybe you've known me as an entrepreneur, but you've not really seen much of my works, or I haven't really made waves. But the moment you see me in pictures with Dangote, then the grace of Dangote, I would like to put it this way, the grace of Dangote will rub on me. Okay, so someone will see you and will be like, oh, okay, he works with Dangote. I think I can do business with this guy. Okay, so when you give yourself or your organization a good look, you'll find people who think like you or think along this line. People who don't want to just associate with people who are not serious about whatever they are doing, their presentation excellence wise, when they get to associate with them, they will be very much at peace, okay? Because it's very hard to build a brand. So if I've been able to build my personal brand to a point, and you are just living your life anyhow, like an armed robber, and maybe you've gone to prison and you've come back and you came to it looks like you are never changing, you won't find me associating myself with you. Because if I keep associating myself with you, and it's not like people find me advising you, then people will be like, maybe I suspect Jerry as well. Jerry could be a robber himself, okay? But the only point I would associate myself with you is when I'm trying to transform your mindset, okay? That's where you find me associating myself with you. But let's look at the general public. You won't find a lot of people who have built a good personality for themselves associating with the bad guys, okay? People who are doing stuff that wouldn't help them, okay? And I'm talking with regards to branding and the right associates. Anshali, please scroll up. Okay, so I actually made this very short because understand we do not have all the time for this training, and so I would like to wrap up by provoking you, especially you who haven't taken branding very seriously. I would like to provoke you. One thing that I would want to put in your mind is the fact that you need to be daring enough to build a tribe. build a tribe for your organization. When I talk about tribe, you know, we have so many tribes wherever you are coming from. I believe we have people from other West African countries joining us. So let's just use Ghana for instance. We have the Ashantis, we have the Gans, we have the Ewes. All these people um, have a tribe. All these are tribes that I've just mentioned. One thing about tribe is that you don't tell the people or the person that you are coming from Ashanti region. The person was born an Ashanti, so the identity will never be misplaced. Wherever they go, they always know that they are Ashantis in their hearts. They know that they are Ashantis. So building a tribe with your NGO is a powerful tool to get people to be with you for a long time. And a typical example of an organization that has built a tribe is Code 57. Code 57, I mean, our founder, Pastor David Ni Ajayi, came to present a family to us. He came as one man, met me, and then we grew from there. He didn't come to me like, Jerry, I have this organization that I want to build with you. He came as an example of what he wanted to do. He came to support me. All the core values, he didn't write them on paper. He lived the life about sacrificing, being selfless, and all of that. He lived the life. So it became easy for me to understand the kind of heart this man has. So you have an NGO, you say you have a good heart for humans. Exhibit it in your life. Exhibit it. Make sure that the people that you are getting on board are people who are coming to stay with you. And I'm not talking about just volunteers. I'm not talking about just donors. I'm talking about people who will become advocates for whatever cause that you are embarking on. They will stand somewhere and talk about you, just like how I'm talking about Code 57. Because Code 57 built a tribe. And I feel very much associated, not just an associate. I'm a family member of Code 57. You get my point? So the moment you are able to, get people together this way, make them feel the way you feel, get them involved whenever, you believe that this has to do with all of us, let's get involved. And you are very selfless. Believe me, you are going to build a mighty NGO. People will live the life of your NGO. Wherever they go, they are proud to mention, an NCVO member, a heartfelt member, I am a Code 57 member, and everyone else represented here. So don't just go and look for volunteers, but rather build a family, build a tribe. This way, you can never go wrong. And let your vision lead you. Let your vision lead you, and be a leader yourself. Because it takes leaders to be able to build a nation. Okay, it takes leaders to be able to build a nation. Right now, I feel associated to three powerful brands that I have consistently mentioned: NCVO, Heartfelt, Code 57, because of what they've done in my life. The seed they've sown, the opportunity to be here to speak with all of you is enormous, and I am very grateful for such an opportunity. So I'm a family member of all these three brands that I've mentioned, the NGO brands that I've mentioned, because I believe that the leaders have really laid the foundation to get me involved. Okay, and it will go on and on if the leaders continue to lead this NGO, and even if they are no more in 50, 80, 100 years to come, even if they are no more, that mark will never be wiped off because they really built that culture, that tribe, and it has remained. That's why you won't find Ghana saying that we will cease being Ghanaians and the whole of Ghana we are changing it to Nigeria. No, we believe this is our home, this is our family, and we will make it work for us because we are all involved in this, right? So this is just what I want to say to provoke you to want to do things differently. My name is Jerry Oforia from Biscoff, and it's been a wonderful session with you. Thank you, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you very, very much, Jerry. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
So any questions, you can raise your hand. And myself or Yvonne or Jerry will call you.
Okay, I saw Evie's hand up. Lady Evie.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Okay, so I must say I'm really enjoying this session because I joined in late. I heard a lot. Brag about that we are not just alive, but we are living. It says a lot. It means that your brand should be able to impact people, and that's when you can actually call them family. And I am so grateful to be part of this. And thank you very much, Jerry, for sharing the tips with us and what we need to do when we form an NGO, because I have that in mind as well. And I enjoyed it. Thank you, the host, NCVO, and the co-host, Kofi Boapo and Madam Yvonne. Thank you so much for bringing the session, making this possible.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
So I can see three people. Gail.
Yep.
Gail, if you can ask your question, please.
Okay. My question is that I've had my NGO for 3 years now, and I was doing a lot of work at a particular place, but I haven't really been able to register because I didn't have the people I could register with, and then the finances. And then I realized that with the volunteers, I wasn't getting people who shared my vision and my dream. Everybody who came on board wanted money instead of like really wanted to help out the kids. I want to find out how I can be able to, and every time I'm trying to get help for the kids in my community, it's difficult because I have not registered yet. I want to know how I can be able to, get to the basis where I'll be able to get funds to help my kids, because it is really a problem for me. I deal with this out of my meager pay and from benevolent friends. That's how I've been coping for all this.
Okay.
Can I take this question,
Yes,
Shirley?
Yvonne, yes,
okay.
go on. I was going to ask you to take that.
Okay. Gail, thank you for that question. And, if it's any comfort, you should know that you're not the only NGO in that situation. A lot of, people with passion like yourself and most of the people on this platform this evening set up NGOs because, there is something that keeps you awake at night and you want to help to solve that problem. But what we find is then, you require funding to do that. And a good step to take is to try and get the registration sorted as soon as possible. For those of you on the platform who have been my clients, this might be a similar thing that you've heard from me when I've spoken to you. You need to register, because if funding would come through other sources like trust and foundations and philanthropies, they want to know that your organization is properly set up, and you then move on to what Jerry's been speaking to us about, branding, to have that brand identity, to look at, the full, spectrum of branding, what it all entails. because then in that way, people have more confidence in the organization and they're more confident to give to the organization. So can I just ask, is your organization based in the UK or is it in Ghana?
In Ghana.
In Ghana. So speak to NCVO Ghana after the session and see if they can assist you with the registration. You know, and once you've registered, you know, you are in a position where you can get your word out there, get your message out there. Organizations like NCVO Ghana can promote your work, you know, when you become, obviously, when you're a member. And then, you know, people will have that confidence to give into the organization. When it comes to those volunteers who come on board expecting to be paid, you know, most of these NGOs start up without, you know, having a paid member. And I even know some of the well-established ones that have been around for years that I'm connected to are mainly supported by volunteers. You know, their expenses are covered, but, you know, salaries are not covered. And if that conversation is had, you know, at the initial stages, and they understand that expenses to some, you know, reasonable expenses are covered and you can afford that, then they can come on board. But if they're insisting on getting paid, then maybe their heart is not in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much, partner. So
You're
Gail,
welcome.
drop your email address in the chat box and your contact number, yeah? And then I'll contact you, okay? I
Yes,
can
please.
also read from the chat. Someone just said, I think it's Eva Ankara. You just said, please, I want to join the organization you just mentioned. So can you please also drop your name and your email address and your contact number in the chat, yeah? Jerry, I think there are questions in the chat for you, but before that, I think Sylvester had already raised his hand. If you can, Sylvester, if you can ask your question, and then we'll go to the ones in the chat.
Okay.
Sylvester, can you unmute yourself, please? Sylvester, okay. All right. I think he's frozen. Okay, let me ask the chat, the question in the chat. Jerry, someone just said that, asked in the chat that you mentioned, first and foremost, somebody said, thank you, Jerry, thank you, it was very powerful. So I just thought I'll let you know. Secondly, someone just said that you mentioned tradition. Is the tradition about what you stand for? That's to you, Jerry.
Tradition or tribe?
He said tradition. I think he's talking about the tribe, yeah.
Tribe is getting some sort of a family, people to root for you, people to feel belonging. I mean, and belonged to your organization. So they stand in the gap for you when you are not present. They speak for you when you are not even aware, making or turning your donors, your beneficiaries, or the public to advocates. Okay, being advocates for you. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. It's not about the values, but the values is something that you have to live. Okay, your organization must have core values, and you as the leader of the organization must also have your core values. So that's about that. I don't know if that's clear for the person.
Okay, I think that person was that was Patrick. Patrick, is it okay for you? We can't hear you, Patrick. You are muted. Patrick, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yes.
I think we've got him now.
Patrick, were you going to say something?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay for now.
Okay, all right. Somebody also asked, I think it's Daniel. Daniel asked Jerry that, Jerry, can you help us with the challenges of branding?
The challenges of branding.
Yeah. Daniel, what do you mean by that? Are you still there? Yes, Daniel, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay. Let's go on to the next question. So the next question, Yvonne, can you help me with the questions, please?
Yes.
The next question, I can't even find it. Okay, I think that these are all the questions on the chart. So any more questions? If you want to ask a question, if you can raise your hand for us.
Hi.
Yes, Yvonne.
So, you know, I don't know if Daniel can hear us, but I was just reflecting on Daniel's question where he says, can we help him with the challenges of branding? You know, from my experience of branding, you know, having worked with, you know, some of the high profile people in the community here, the challenge is always, you know, funding is a big challenge. You know, the stronger brands, you know, have the funding to promote the brand. You know, and usually also, you know, if you have a credible organization or an individual supporting and backing the brand, it can really project the brand and really get the brand in front of people that would, you know, really see the brand and help support your cause. So my advice would always be that, you know, create the brand, invest in the brand, make creating your brand and your brand identity one of your key priorities as an organization, because the brand is actually going to speak to people that you might not even meet in person. And it's so useful to make that investment, you know, in the brand. And I say this, and I must declare this interest that, you know, Heartfelt Philanthropy Network is a client of Sensitive Branding. Jerry has done a wonderful presentation and he's worked with us. You know, I could have asked other people to look at what we wanted to do, but we were drawn to Sensitive Branding because we felt that we could get the support and the attention that we need to get our brand across, you know, and it did come at, you know, making that investment in the brand, because now, you know, the brand is then speaking for us. You know, I'm somebody that, for those of you who know me quite well, I don't spend a lot of time on social media and, you know, getting the brand out there. But since we work with Sensitive Branding, we've understood the importance of all, you know, of getting our brand out there and supporting the organizations. So I would say invest in your branding. It may come at a cost, but make it a priority when you're budgeting in your NGOs. You know, think about, yes, you want to support your beneficiaries, but you also need to invest in that branding, and you need to get the right people behind your brand so they can put the brand in front of people that can help your organization to grow and to help the organization to make a real impact.
Sylvester, I can see your hand is raised. Sylvester, you've still raised your hand. Can you unmute yourself, please? Can you unmute yourself, Sylvester? Okay. Okay. Lady Evie, can you ask your question, please?
Yes, I'm sure I'm unmuted now. Can you get me, please?
I actually wanted to add up to what Madam Yvonne said about branding.
Okay.
Yes. There was actually something I read about branding in marketing where they compared it to a woman and a girl and a guy going on a date. And they said marketing is when someone comes to ask you out, and branding is why you say yes. So I repeat again, they said marketing is when a guy comes to ask you out, and branding is why you say yes, you know, to go for a date. So the importance of branding is to actually elevate you, is actually to put you on top of the whole curve that you are the best. You are given value for what you're doing. So it is only branding that someone will want to associate themselves to you as a brand and will want to work with you. So yeah, Madam Yvonne, you're so right about this, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Lady Evie. Okay, Sylvester, you can ask your question now.
Hello, can you get me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure joining you this evening. I'm Sylvester from Cameroon, precisely the English-speaking part of Cameroon, and it has been a pleasure. I enjoyed it. I just thought I've been struggling. You know, there is this internet connectivity problem around West Africa, and so it has not been easy for me to connect. So I've been having internet problem, but I have to persevere because I enjoy the topic. I'm sure I will share my experiences by email. I was also one of those who joined earlier, and I was promised a prize, so I will share it with email because I've not been able to use the dashboard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
So any more questions? You have to ask Jerry as many questions as possible. As many as possible. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I think Samuel, you put something in the chat. Are you still there, Samuel? If you want to say that to us, please, if you can unmute yourself. Samuel? Okay.
Well, no, I'm here. Thank you. I mean, I thought you will just read it.
No,
it's not a question. It's not a question. I basically was offering a kind of thinking aloud input into the discourse.
Okay.
And so from my experience, many small NGOs fail to realize that the quality of their boards, the credibility of the individuals in the board in itself is a brand. Many NGOs, and I'm talking about 40 years experience working in this area, you know, from northern Ghana to Accra, you know, people start with all the passion, but they don't want control. And so they put a motley group of their friends who would say yes to everything. And so there is no governance. And that is a very terrible way to run an organization. You can start the organization with your passion. As soon as you register it, it becomes a public organization. The ownership is in the hands of the board. Let them set the policies in a way that will help you do your work. But many NGOs are afraid of that. I can say that on certain.
Thank you very much. Our governance, you know, person is on the platform. Yvonne, do you want to quickly say something, and then we can continue with the questions?
Yes, I was so close to typing in the chat that I agree with you, Samuel. You know, governance and getting the right people on the board, you know, it's very important. I work with a number of organizations that, you know, sometimes people ask, why don't you advertise for trustees? I'm like, no, we don't advertise because we want to make sure we've got the right people on the board who are there for the right reason, not because of, you know, the facts that they can put on their CVs that are there on this board. So, you know, picking the right people to be on your board is very important. Obviously, you need to look at expertise. You need to look at what value they would add to your cause. You also need to look at what skills that they're bringing on board, and really if they're connected to the vision. Very important. And have a good mix on the board. You know, Samuel, we had a governance session a few months back. We covered a lot of these things, but I think we will bring you part 2. And when we bring you part 2, we'd love for you to join us and to come and contribute to that discussion, because I think you're very clued on when it comes to governance.
you, partner. Okay, the next question is from Daniel again. Daniel says, how do we maintain brand relevance? Jerry.
Okay, thank you for the question, Daniel. To maintain brand relevance is just by saying it's about sustainability, okay? And sustainability is a strategy, okay? You always must have a strategy, okay? You have to be adding value to yourself every time, okay? So maybe you are in one community doing what you have to do. Think about extending yourself into another community and then getting people to hear more about what you're doing. And also you have to think about how you do what you do. Okay, so if it is about donating to some farmers in the local community or in the village, maybe you should think of an innovative something innovative for farmers. Maybe you can get a drone to come and cover what they are doing, or maybe you should get some machines that will improve their work, not just to probably give them money. That way, people are continually going to feel how relevant you have been to them. And that is a strategy to sustain your NGO over the period.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we continue with the questions, if you haven't given us your email address, can you please put your email address in the chat so that we can send you the recording? Some of you have already registered. We have your email address, but if you did not register, can you please put your email address so that we can send the recordings and the slides? Okay, Mary Claire, you wanted to give a contribution? Are you there, Mary? Yes?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Mary Claire. I'm actually a student of KNUST in my final year right now.
Okay.
And I'm studying communication design, but I'm majoring in advertising and marketing.
Wow.
So that's why I decided to actually join this meeting because of the branding. Yes, so that's just by the way. I had a contribution that I wanted to share to everyone. It's actually a personal contribution, like something I've actually faced. I have this bakery business that I'm doing, and I actually do it in school, but because of this whole pandemic, school has been closed down, so I decided to just do it in Accra, where I live at the moment. And I realized that actually there's a lot of competition here because almost everyone is baking. Okay, so so when I was doing the bakery business, I realized for a while it wasn't really going smoothly. So I actually sat down to analyze what's going on, and then I realized it was actually my branding. So I sat down and I was like, I mean, I've studied 3 years of marketing. That's like branding. So why can't I just figure this out? So I decided to rebrand my business by creating with my logo and then my flyers and everything. I made it's like I gave it a similar color scheme. So it's like with the color scheme, when people view it, the first thing that comes to their mind is, this is Claire's Bakery's color scheme. So that's how I've kept that kind of branding in people's minds. So it's like when they see this color scheme, it comes to the mind that this is the color scheme I've seen from Claire's Bakery flyers. Yes. So I just want to say concerning branding, as the co-host said, your typography, your color scheme, the kind of font you use, it all matters. You shouldn't just think it's unnecessary because it's not really relevant, but then no, it all matters. That's how it actually gets to sit in people's minds, because people actually want what they see. Like, they get attracted by what they see. So if what you offer is not attractive, then I don't think they'll actually patronize your product or your service that you're offering. So that's just what I wanted to contribute. So thank you.
Thank you. That was a very, very good contribution.
Can I quickly chip in this before Auntie Shelley, you continue?
Okay.
Right, listening to the lady who just spoke, I identified a problem, but I realized probably she wasn't looking at that direction. Okay, she first approached rebranding as the solution. It could be true. I haven't seen her brand before. Maybe the brand identity itself is not striking. Okay, maybe that is why she decided to go into rebranding. But one thing I know is that when you feel you are not getting the results that you need, what you need to think of is extra value. How do I, add extra value to what I'm doing? So your value proposition. How do I get people to fall in love with my brand? Coca-Cola doesn't need to change Coca-Cola. They need to, introduce something new to get people to love Coca-Cola even the more. So you find Coca-Cola Light and what have you. It is to appeal to a group of people. That is value proposition. Okay, so probably next time when you feel it is not working, think about what other value can I add to what I already have to get people to patronize me more. My kenke, for instance, Yabroni Fanti Kenke, has value. Okay, one, the value is I didn't just look at kenke like, okay, kenke, and then we just give the normal kenke. It's got sesame seed in it. Sesame seed for the health benefit that it gives you. Okay, so then someone will look at this and be like, oh, I'm not just going to get kenke, the raw kenke like everyone is doing. I'm getting sesame seed in this kenke to give me extra benefit. And then aside that, the major problem about fancy kenke is that it doesn't have a longer shelf life. Then I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity to add value to kenke so that people will love the brand even the more. So what I did was to think about how to solve that problem. Then I gave it the longevity. Now kenke and fancy kenke can stay for even a year. You're already exporting by the grace of God. And so you look at this and you'll be like, okay, this kenke, I mean, I don't want to do without it because I can't get this elsewhere, all right? And finally, we've had FDA certification, which is something that seals the whole thing, because some people will be skeptical about this. They'll be like, oh, this kenke looks good, but the government does not know about it. But now the government knows about it, which gives you the confidence. So you see, I've always been thinking value, 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 value. And that is what builds you a solid brand, not just rebranding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Jerry. Another question from Mr. Yamua. He says, what are the strategies of designing a good branding? Jerry.
Okay, strategies. Strategies is so much, as in it never stops. Okay, so what I would want to tell you is to always think creatively, be innovative, conceptual about your branding. Okay, when people are doing something like let's say kiosk, when it comes to Ghana, when everyone is thinking of putting up a kiosk to sell something, they are not thinking style. They are going the same old way, 4 square, and then they put some ceilings on it and they paint it one color. Off they go. But you want to stand out in your brand identity, stand out in every touch point of your brand. So maybe what you're using to sell your products, let's say the bread, maybe the way you stand on the street, even the dresses the sellers or your sales reps use should come in a particular style. It shouldn't be the same way people are going about it. Okay, so with that way, you are being strategic about building a solid brand, right? So think conceptually and think creatively, innovatively, And all these things will make you build a solid brand and have a story that will always evoke the emotions of people. You'll never go wrong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think there are no more questions. I can't see any more questions. I can't see anyone raise their hand. Okay. Wow, Jerry, thank you so much. I'm really, really excited. I can't wait to, I can't wait for the recording to be ready because myself and Yvonne were hosting. I was not, my mind was on, doing your slides and all that. So I need to. Yes. Yes, Daniel.
Hi everyone. This is Daniel.
Hello, Daniel.
I want to add something before you end the discussion.
Okay, please do.
Okay, so there's, like as he said, branding. But as organizations, there are little things we can start with branding. That is building our brand internally. There are some basic things you need to look out for. Let's say you are going out to look for a partner or a sponsor. So you need to look at our letterhead. How many organizations have letterheads? So we need to have a letterhead. Letterheads, when we are looking at letterheads, we have the zeta paper. They are normally thick. Aside that, you have a stamp as an organization. Some of them, they write letters or no letterheads. The way you prepare our proposals, no images, just raw. So we look at basic things in the organization to build the organization internally. So we look at our brand works, like what the lady mentioned of the brand materials, like the flyers. We look at our relevance on the social media platforms too as well. How to stay relevant too on our social media platforms. We look at our vision and core statement. State them both. Our mission statement, our short-term vision, our long-term vision. Then we look at the internally works of our in our organization, and I think that will help us to grow our organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very, very useful, Daniel. Thank you so much. Yvonne, do you want to say something? I can see you've unmuted yourself.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Yes. Daniel, thank you very much. You touched on very important points as well. And I also want to say a personal thank you to Jerry for so clearly and succinctly highlighting the importance of branding, how to brand for impact. What I've taken from this, and I don't usually take notes when I'm listening, but I have taken notes this time because I felt I can't, I really need to take the notes. But what I'd want us to go away with is to understand what Jerry said about NGOs is just like any other business. And I've been saying this, for God knows how long, that we've moved away from the point where you think a charity is a charity or an NGO is an NGO. An NGO or a charity is a business. Run it with the mindset that Coca-Cola would run Coca-Cola. Run it with the mindset that Amazon would run Amazon. So I think the only difference between an NGO and the profit-making business is the fact that you are not making profits. You are actually investing the profits in your community. But everything else, in my opinion, is the same. So I'm really pleased that Jerry touched on that. The other thing that I want to highlight as well, that branding is more than the brand identity. Branding is more than your logo. And I'm glad that other people that contributed have mentioned that as well, have talked about the social media, what they're doing on social media and all of that. So it's beyond your brand identity. I like the fact that Jerry also highlighted the fact that we need to focus and be consistent. Don't confuse or send mixed messages to your clients. A good example is, even as an individual, you are a brand. I see myself as a brand. I don't confuse my clients by rocking up one day with pink hair and the next day with blue hair. And people get confused. It's the same way as with your organization, your NGO. Be consistent with your branding, because people will recognize you very easily when you're consistent and you don't send any mixed messages. Lead the brand by living the life. I love that. Jerry, I have taken so much notes here. Live the brand by living the life. So
that's right.
You know, as Jerry explained, if you're helping children, you need to be seen as a children ambassador.
Yeah,
Even
that's
when you
right.
reply to, you reply to a tweet on your personal account, you should be saying things that support your core values and your brand. I work with clients who have investment portfolios that I look after. You know, because these people are environmentalists, I don't invest in fossil fuels. You know, so because even the investment decisions that we make for these clients, we make them based on their personal brand. They're known as environmentalists, so we don't invest in anything that would get anybody to say, oh my god, they're environmentalists, but they're investing in fossil fuels, or they're supporting fracking and things like that. And it's the same with our organizations. What we're supporting, we need to live that life through daily and through the brands and in what we comment on social media. So I'm quite pleased that has all, Jerry has highlighted all of these points. And again, branding makes your organization credible. Please, let's remember that. If we don't remember anything at all, let's remember that branding makes our organizations credible. Because with that credibility, we will get people wanting to invest in our NGOs to support the work that we do. There are a number of organizations on this platform. Actually, I'll mention one if it's still on here. HopeWorks, Heartfelt Philanthropy Network made a donation towards their work. HopeWorks would send me stuff that I'd look at, and I'm looking at the way they write their impact report, the way they monitor their activities. They didn't have to ask for funding. I said, Heartfelt Philanthropy Network is going to support your work. Because for me, there was that credibility. I could connect, and other philanthropists will feel the same way. So let's walk away, from this session tonight and take this action that we're going to make our organization more credible by establishing a strong brand that would make a huge impact. Jerry, I can't thank you enough for coming onto this platform this evening to speak to us. You deserve this gig, and I think you've done amazing. And I'm so pleased that, Heartfelt Philanthropy Network is a client. And I know that you know your stuff. So thank you. Thank you very much. A personal clap for me to you, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay, wow. With our trainings, we never want to stop, but unfortunately we have to stop because tomorrow is a working day, but I'm very, very glad whenever we do trainings like this and people have learned a lot. I just look back and say to myself that, oh, wow, what if we hadn't set up NCVOGHANA, I can see that a lot of you are learning, and it's all part of branding, studying, it's all part of branding, the sense that I think in my opening statement, I said that gone are the days when NGOs I'm just an NGO. No, there's competition out there, so you have to be different from other NGOs. And it all comes by doing all these trainings, So I'm so happy, Jerry, for what you've taught us today. Thank you so, so much. And I knew you could do a good job, and you exceeded my expectation. So I'm sure we have to do it again, we have to do it again. And at the same time, I want to thank everybody who have taken time of their busy schedule to join us, because without you, you wouldn't have been able to, run this training. Thank you so much. And we'll send you the recording. And as I said earlier on, our next training is going to be on the 29th of September. It's actually like a presentation. There's an organization it's in West Africa. It's called West Africa Civil Society Institute. So what they do is they help NGOs, not only NGOs, civil societies, churches, and stuff like that. They have an online presence. They have an e-directory whereby when you register with their organization, your organization can be on their directory. Anybody can find you on their directory. But unfortunately, people don't know that they exist. And those who even know that they exist too, it seems like they're finding it very difficult to register with them. So on the 29th of September, one of their guys are coming on to do a presentation to show us how to register with them and also the benefits, because I'm part of it, and some of the people on the platform are also part of it. It's a very, very good organization. You can advertise your programs there and so on and so forth. So please, I'll send the invites around. So please join us. So thank you very much. And if you haven't put your email address down, please do so, because we really want to listen to this recording and apply what we have learned today to your organization. Once again, Jerry, thank you so much. Yvonne, always on point. I'm so proud of you. My husband is at the back there. Reverend Mr. Kofi Kwafo is at the back there. And Kofi, I can see you are there somewhere, or you've left.
I think he's still on. Can we, David, can you unmute yourself?
Can you say something to us? Can we see you, hear from you?
Oh, is it me?
Good evening,
no,
everyone.
David, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mama Shirley.
Good evening, my
good
dear.
Good evening, Yvonne. How you doing?
Well, good. Thank you, David.
Great, great. I mean, it's been an honor to be on this platform tonight. And I must say, of course, just hearing from, our team leader, Jerry, just hearing from him tonight has actually not just inspired me, but it's taught me a lot as well. And, one of the things, of course, I would say is, as much as we're all here as an individual NGOs, I believe we all now need to create a bond of family. So I consider Yvonne, I consider Mama Shirley, I consider everyone as a family. Because understand that, guys, we cannot do this by ourselves.
No.
If we're going to impact our community, we have to become a culture.
Yeah.
Now, especially for those in Ghana, what Ghana lacks is a culture. Ghana doesn't have a cultural system that actually unites the people together. And if we can do that, because in Ghana, it's like every man for themselves. But if we can change that mindset with our individuals and collective NGOs, if we can change the mindsets of the people, we've already had victory. Now, my last few words that I would personally say out here to everyone is believe in what you're doing. That's the truth. I believe there are times where I've sat down with Yvonne and, it looks like finances are not really available because most of us are complaining about finances in terms of doing what we have to do. But understand now, we now have to, I told Yvonne at times, listen, as the leader of this movement, I now have to deprive myself of certain things. I now have to make radical sacrifices that will build this culture to influence the youth of Ghana. So at times, even when it comes to the end of the month and there are certain things that I want, I can't have that, unfortunately. I would now have to sacrifice that because there's no other person that's supporting me. So I would now have to sacrifice that for the sake of the people. But let us all understand collectively that the biggest investment that we can make is people. And I'm very much glad that every single person here has put their heads together to actually empower whatever nation or community that you're in. So let us just all keep pushing. And I'm very much inspired by all the NGOs that's here. And honestly, for me personally, I've learned a lot. And thank you to Jerry as well. I'm very much impressed. Thank you to Yvonne for giving us this platform. Thank you to Mama Shirley as well for giving us this platform as well. And yeah, that's it from me. God bless you all.